Okay. Oh, I should move just to make it like fun and entertaining. Okay, I'm gonna scoot over. Oh, look, there's my massage laundry. Ta-da. Okay, so we're gonna pretend it's another day. Today is number 20, or I guess it's 20 in sign language, is random news and history that makes me cry. Oh, I did have another sad one. I am so sorry. Although there's good history that's made me cry too, but there are some things that have made me weep. Um, the more I learn about actual history, the unfiltered version, the more I realize that Columbusizing is quite real. And the more I understand um, that my country is sometimes a villain in the story rather than a hero, but it always tries to make itself appear the hero. And that the person who wins the war really is the person who tries to control the narrative. So even in the Civil War, here in the US, like there are things I just didn't know. One was that the Civil War for the South was largely not fought over slavery, because they saw the North as slave owners, um, mostly Irish and Italian and German, were enslaved, and they were just enslaved in these workhouses, not workhouses, that's a European term. They were enslaved in these factories, and um, they would only pay them enough that they could scrape by, and they would provide housing for them that was just too expensive. They were slumlords, frankly, and there would be unsanitary one bathroom basically for an entire tenement house. And like once they finally got running water, which was amazing finally, but still like one bathroom, right? Even with all the industrial revolution. And they would fight against things they didn't understand. Like they didn't understand what brown lung was, and they didn't understand these big huge mills where they're making fabric, that the cotton fibers were getting inside of people's lungs and basically causing cancer. It was called brown lung, and it would slowly kill them. The fibers would slowly kill them by getting in their lungs. And so, if you worked full time in one of those factories, your life expectancy was, I think, 6 years. It was not very long. And they essentially, you know the song, and I owe my soul to the company store, 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't call because I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. It's like so sad because that is the life that people lived here in the U.S. I felt very much it was slavery, because if they could quit because they were free agents, right? But if they quit, they would be blacklisted from all the other factories, and so it really was just a racket. And so the South did not see the North as any different. This shouldn't see it as any different. There were good slave owners in the South, and there were bad slave owners in the South, and there were good slave owners in the North, and there were bad slave owners. They just saw zero difference. They were concerned about tariffs. They were concerned about taxation. They were concerned about inequalities going from the North to the South, and some prejudices that were making it so they were being unjustly treated. And because of that, that is why they wanted to secede. They're like, you are not treating us as an equal partner in this country. We want to secede. And frankly, they weren't being treated as equal partners. And I disagree vehemently with slavery. Uh, Irish slaves were less expensive than African slaves, um, and treated worse. So and slavery is so old. If you look at the history of slavery, it's so old. Um, I disagree with it a lot. Um, in the scriptures, when it talks about slavery, it discusses how to be a good slave owner. That's how old it is. That if you are a slave owner, that there are actually appropriate ways in order to take care of them, essentially like their family. It's like saying, you know what, they don't have the budget to take care of their family. So what you're going to do is essentially you're going to take on this new family member. And this is how you're going to treat them. Yeah, that's how old slavery is. But Most people did not take that into context and help people lift up because they were a step ahead. Instead, they just took advantage. And it still happens. Human trafficking is still real. There are still child slaves who make things like, oh, what's that oil? Castor oil. That's a big thing. Children get burned a lot making castor oil. It's so sad. So understanding that is not a fun one. I'm so sorry. I forgot that there was a non-fun one left. I totally dismissed it. But oh, it looks like there's another one. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, well, we're getting closer to all the happy ones, but there are some sad ones apparently. So you're gonna write down random news that really irritates your soul. It makes you cry. This is totally in the take out the trash one, unless you are diehard about history and you really want your kids to know. And so you put it in your journal. This is one that's like, pick whichever one's your priority, because I get it. I really get it. I was pretty disturbed about a lot of things I learned in history because I do read a lot, and history is something that fascinates me, especially when I really want to know the truth. Rather, like when I read A Slave Girl written by herself, that was really interesting and eye-opening. Um, she was very instrumental in doing a lot of good, but she made mistakes. Just like every normal human makes mistakes, and she had to deal with consequences of those mistakes. But um, I'm really grateful that she wrote the book she wrote. So anyway, I think that's the name of the book. It was really good. I cried. So many books. I've just cried. So many books that I'm like, I read that book, and unless you want to deal with this, like I don't suggest that book. Like the Meet the Midwives book, like the real one. There's a whole section on the prostitutes that she learned about, and I would not suggest those chapters. They're not healthy for your soul at all. Anyway, at all. So go and write down again, repeated random news and history that makes you cry. Okay? I would say have fun, but it's not actually a fun one, so sorry.